Chapter 20. Fear and worry twisted Samil's stomach as she scanned the people in the cave. There were only a handful, but their father's quick surrender frightened her more than 100 humans. "Why didn't you fight?" Samil asked her father in Draconic, so none of the humans can understand. She drew as close to him as the chains would let her. "My magic is gone, but you could have flattened them with one breath." "I can't attack them," father said. "We worked too long and too hard to get humans to trust us. I fought to protect humans. Attacking them would mean that Tahisas and the evil dragons have won." "But we might die," Samil said near tears. "We should defend ourselves." "Perhaps," Samil's father scanned the humans, "but we must wait to see their plans. I have learned much of this group of humans," Samil said. "They hate dragons, all dragons. This group dedicates itself to banishing the metallic dragons from Kryn." Samil's father chuckled. "And how precisely do they seek to accomplish that?" "I'm not sure, but I believe it has something to do with them capturing us. The same group tried to capture me. That's how I met Talon." "Talon is with these people?" Samil's father looked in the direction they had taken her. "They sure didn't act like friends." Samil took a deep breath. The time to tell her father was now. "Talon is the leader of these people." She then braced for the explosion. Father was so surprised for a moment he looked blank. Then his mouth opened and he began roaring. Not with fury, only with laughter. "Oh, the gods do have a sense of humor," he said, slapping his tail against the ground. "To blind my daughter with her anti-human semantics. To a human who hates dragons." The guards around them shifted their weapons, alarmed at the dragon's strange noises. "Is this something you and she planned together? Something that would force the dragons to leave Kryn? I knew you were a clever dragon, my dear, but this—" "No!" Samil gasped. "Talon and I just want to break the curse. Is there even a curse?" Her father guffawed. "These humans are no threat," he exclaimed. "They won't hurt me. I think I'll give them something to remember me." Picking out an older man wearing a red robe, he called in common, "You there! Yes, you, with a silly-looking beard." The man raised a hand to his chin with a hurt look. "What would you do if I started something like this?" Samil's father took a deep breath and said, lightning crackling loudly but harmlessly across the top of the cave. The humans screamed and huddled on the ground, arms flung over their heads. As shocked as Samil was that her father would scare humans, she did wonder how the humans thought the mere weapons would protect them if they were struck by lightning. After the lightning died away, the humans scrambled to their feet. The man with the beard, which was rather silly-looking with its long curls, pointed a hand at Samil's father and shouted, "Intidida!" Samil's father blinked heavily. He swayed back and forth like he did when he ate too much of Uncle Numar's special dragon drop. He shuddered and collapsed on the floor with a thud that shook the cavern. "Father!" Samil cried, straining to get closer. The white wizard seemed to consider her. Then must have decided she was no threat. Samil stretched her neck so she could look her father in the eye. "Father!" she cried again. "Are you all right?" Her father and mother mumbled incoherently. His eyes were open, revealing pupils so dilated that little remained of the bronze outer color. "Sleep spell," he managed, sounding as though his mouth were stuffed with jellyfish. "White wizard attack. Why?" "Father, stay awake. I need your help." Her father struggled to keep his eyes open. "Spell powerful. Took me by surprise." "Stupid." "Fight it," Samil said, fighting back tears. If father fell asleep along with mother, she would have no one. "Please don't leave me alone." Muttering, father propped himself up on his front legs. Samil could not reach him to help, so she stared at him, wishing her gaze could give him strength. He leaned against the wall, breathing heavily. Samil's mind raced to think everything out but one at a time. She thought of Talon and the hatred she saw in the girl's eyes. While Samil no longer thought that the girl hated her with such a blind ferocity, she harbored no illusions that once they broke this link, they would go their separate ways. A thought then struck Samil and made her gasp. "Talon tried to capture me before. What if this is a ploy?" Fear and anger raced through Samil like fire. "I don't follow," father said sleepily. Samil wanted her regular father back, the one who could piece together puzzles and plot lightning quick. Everything about this switch has disadvantaged me more than her, Smil realized. So what if Talon can't heal? She feels my hurt, but with my scales, I don't get hurt as much as she does. But it convinces me we have to travel together, and since her body can't withstand flying, I'm grounded. I can't swim or do magic or even talk to animals. Everything that had happened was clicking together in Smil's mind with horrifying efficiency. She tricked me, Smil gasped. They must have followed me, seen my gem, and come up with some way to switch us. Inconvenient for her, true, but she would do anything to further her cause. Slow down, young one, her father mumbled. You are ascribing quite a plot for such a young human girl. You don't know her father, Smil said. She's so driven. All these people. Smil flicked her tail about. All of them are here because of her. She may have set something in motion that she didn't fully understand at the time, her father said thickly. Don't judge her harshly, and you must keep one question in mind. What? Smil wanted to roar in frustration, but knew that would attract too much attention. What happens if you die, or if Talon dies? The link is real. You seem to be convinced of that. That is one aspect that no one can fully understand until it's too late. Smil forced herself to calm down and focus on her father's words. While his sympathy for humans had always grated upon her, he did have a point. There were just too many things she didn't know. Smil looked at her mother, who was still sound asleep. She never said anything about this jewel? Are you sure? Not a word, her father said. We can't wake her up? Even if she's rested enough, which she hasn't, I wouldn't wake her up. His father's gaze flickered around the cave. They're afraid. They'd be more afraid if they had two grown dragons to face, not just one. Fearful humans are dangerous. Fear, Smil murmured. Fear was what had driven Talon to create the heirs of humans, she realized. It seemed like cake, but really, it was fear. Fear that the dragons would come back and harm her family and friends again. Smil was no different. There was just one thing she hadn't mentioned yet to her father about her journey. Why didn't you tell me about draconians? She asked softly. Her father's sagging eyes snapped open wide. Where did you hear that word? I met some. They captured Talon, tortured her. I fought them, even though they said they were kin. Smil looked her father straight in the eye. Is this true? Smil's father bowed his head. It is. We were going to tell you when you were older. It happened to many dragon families. Eggs were stolen, and through some of the blackest rites ever performed, were perverted into those creatures. Why didn't you try to get the eggs back? Smil asked, stricken. I assumed they were dead. So did we, for a long time. Once we found out what was going on, it was too late. I heard a tale of some gold and silver dragons who tried to reclaim their children, but it was impossible. We had to accept their loss and take joy in the one thing we had left. Smil's father reached out with the tip of his tail and touched Smil's tail. You. Father's head drooped. Their spell is getting to be too much for me, he said. Please don't leave me alone, Smil whispered. I can't do this on my own. You have other friends, her father said, curling his body tightly on the floor, his breathing deepening. You'll find a way, he murmured so low Smil could barely hear. Then he finally drifted into a deep sleep. And that'd be the end of chapter 20.